ready? Is everybody ready for this? I love this.
You know, we're going to need the music to the chords, so we can push this.
You'll have to go on her website.
Carroll for New Jersey State Assembly. Carroll for New Jersey State Assembly. About the mountain floods of leaders here to wanted to preserve what we all hold dear. Never been afraid of a gold darn thing. Never been heard duty calling, but I had in the ring. Carroll for New Jersey State Assembly. Carroll for New Jersey State Assembly. Karen's New Jersey roots we see Karen's New Jersey. Karen's New Jersey, Karen's about you.
Liberal,
Progressive, I'm probably too.
like
Spirits, help them out.
November 8th, give Cameron a shout.
Carroll, New Jersey State Assembly. Carroll, New Jersey State Assembly.
Oh, thanks, John. Okay, I want to introduce our candidate. Assembly candidate Karen Carroll is a lifetime resident of New Jersey, of Central Jersey. She grew up in Middlesex and Hunterdon counties and moved to Somerset County in the early 1970s. She's been a resident of Bound Brook for 13 years, moving in just before Hurricane Floyd struck New Jersey. Karen is a member of the Bound Brook Historic Commission, served as a volunteer for the Bound Brook Redevelopment Advisory Committee, is a member of the Elks Club, and has served the last 4 years as chair of the Bound Brook Democratic Municipal Committee. She attended college part-time and evenings for 13 years and graduated from Raritan Valley Community College in 1982 with an associate's degree and Rider University in 1988 with a Bachelor of Arts. Karen gained leadership experience and honed her skills when she served as the Public Relations Director for the League of Women Voters of New Jersey. She also served as a trustee on the League of Women Voters of New Jersey Educational Fund in the late 1980s and the Public Relations Director for the Women's Vote Project, registering more than 10,000 women to vote in New Jersey in 1984.
Wow.
There's more. Karen served on the board of Somerset Family Planning Service and is a past board president and associate director for Women's Health and Counseling in Somerville. She has worked as a volunteer for the annual Community Thanksgiving Dinner, for home sharing of Somerset County, and for the Somerset County Food Bank. Karen also served as the project manager for the restoration of the historic Van Horn House in Bridgewater, and worked as a former vice president for historic restoration for precision building and construction. Karen now is self-employed as an independent agricultural crop insurance adjuster, serving New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. Karen believes that Democrats have a proud history of supporting and working for the middle class and those struggling to make a living. Believing that government should be truly by the people, of the people, but most importantly, for the people. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I welcome someone who will work for the people, work for us, and when we vote for her to Trenton, Karen Carroll.
That's good. I have cheat sheets today, folks, because Judy found a thing on the website the other day. It was a picture of me talking at the Somerset County Democrats campaign opening our campaign headquarters opening last week, and I had notes written on my hand. And you can see them in the picture. So Judy decided she needed to make me some cheat sheets. But first of all, I want to thank Lainie and John for this incredible party. It's a beautiful, beautiful house, isn't it? It's a great place, a great party. It's just fabulous. What you don't know is that when I was a little kid growing up, Davy Crockett was one of my heroes. I definitely remember the tune. I mean, it was really, really terrific. So thank you so much for that. While we're here and we're saying thank yous, I have a few other people who are here today that I would like to mention and say that they have done a great deal for the campaign, such as it is, up as far as we've gone, and we still have about 81 more days to go. And I have Judy Natural, who is my treasurer. Who have been working on a number of things. Al is here, and Ida is over there, and they've been great. Skip and Alan, who have been doing a lot of work with my voter, my lists and all that stuff, and Skip is going to be doing some and Lisa Ann Powers, who has done a great deal of research and work for me in terms of finding out the information on bills and who voted for what and what happened here and all that stuff. And that's a tread to have to wander your way through some of the legislative stuff in Trenton. So thank you, Lisa. Thank you. So we have several dignitaries here today. We have Bob Stead, who is the chair of the Warren County Democratic Committee. John Valentine, who is the chair of Washington Borough and a municipal councilman in Washington Borough. We have, who else do we have? We have a couple of folks here. Lois. Oh, I'm sorry, your husband was blocking you. Pardon me, we have Lois Zarish over there, who is the chair of the Hunterdon County Democratic Committee. Great feeling out there about throw the bones out. And I think that it's a valid feeling because these guys have really not worked for people in this county. They have really worked for their own self-interest and for the self-interest of their upper 2% population friends. And that's something that we need to change. We also have a better ratio of Democrats to Republicans in the district this time, which is a much more advantageous thing than we've ever had before. We are working hard to zero in on who the Obama voters are and make sure that we target them, target independents, because if I were a woman and I were an independent, I'd be embarrassed as hell if I ever voted for a Republican. So we're working on those kinds of things. We have the support of labor this time, which frequently does not happen in these races up here. And labor is supporting us. We have the support of the women's movement, and we have the support of environmentalists. A lot of these people don't have a whole lot of money, but they do have bodies. And we know that we can win this if we have people who are on the street and making sure that they're knocking on doors and making phone calls and letting people know that we're out there. So we really need to hit all those folks. The other thing I'd like to say is that this district and other districts in this corner of New Jersey have been, in the past, have been basically like political financial wastelands. Because the Democrats don't spend any money here because they don't think they can win. And the Republicans don't spend any money here because they don't think they have to. And if a small group of people were suddenly to arise with a group of candidates that were viable and visible and energetic and worth voting for, it could be very, very different. And they would be totally broadsided by this, and it could make a huge difference in what happens in Trenton. American author Marianne Williamson made a statement about power is the ability to do good for people. And these fellows who are in there are not doing good for people. They're not worried about you. They're not worried about the environment. They're not worried about what you breathe. They're not worried about jobs and providing jobs for people. There's lots of things that can be done in this. There's no transportation up in this corner of the state. We have lots of people who couldn't get to a job if they wanted to. The economy is really eating away at what everybody's doing, and we really need to move forward on that. In Somerset County, we have some pretty significant issues. We have a pipeline that is being designed to transport fracked gas out of Pennsylvania. Many of you have heard about the fracked gas issue, and that is a big issue. And that's not just an environmental issue in terms of the pipeline, which is going to be 42 inches It's a huge pipeline. I'm 60 inches tall, that's here. I mean, you know, for heaven's sakes, there's already 2 others in the same area. One is a 24-inch pipeline, and another one is a 36-inch pipeline. A few weeks ago, there was a meeting in Clinton Township. It was an open public meeting by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. I was the only person there running for office. Every single person running for office in that area should have been at that meeting to make a statement about what they thought that kind of impact would be on their residents and the people who are involved in those areas. Some of those pipelines are going to go within feet of people's home foundations. This is ridiculous. We shouldn't be allowing this kind of stuff. So that's one significant issue. Another issue is Hagedorn. The Hagedorn Psychiatric Hospital right around is in your backyard?
Well, 2 blocks over.
2 blocks over. Hagedorn is a psychiatric hospital that houses approximately 250 geriatric psychiatric patients. It's a real serious issue. It's a very specialized type of care that these people need. And without any concern for this, the governor has just slashed the funding for this hospital out of the budget. This was put together with a commission that met for about a year to talk about the feasibility of whether to close Hagedorn or what to close, and the commission voted not to close it. But when the report was written, surprisingly enough, the report was written from the perspective of we need to close the thing, and the governor has slashed the money. So this is a ridiculous thing. We're talking about something that could easily affect 2,500 people. We're talking about the 250 patients and their families, the 600 people who are their employees and their families. When I talk about the patients, I mean the patients and their families, the individuals who are working there and their families, and then we're talking about the impact on the local municipal businesses. You know, what's happening with that? We had a press conference a few weeks ago, and we had people come to us who said that when they would go to the local 7-Eleven or whatever, lots of these local businesses said that they were going to have to close because Hagedorn is a huge portion of their business. This is a big loss. And when they talk about putting in jobs and taking care of people in central Jersey and in Hunterdon County and in Warren County and in Somerset County, we can't be cutting things like this. Our population is aging. Why would we be cutting an organization or a facility that caters to this issue? It's just not logical at all. That kind of ties right into the jobs issue. We need jobs, so we're cutting 600 of them. That makes sense. Let's just go ahead with that. The governor is cutting. As you all know, he declined to fund the tunnel, which would have been a huge amount of jobs for people. I know that there are towns here in Hunterdon County that are on the Raritan Valley line, which goes right through and would have been using that tunnel. These are jobs that would have been done in the creation, and it's just, again, it's a penny wise and pound foolish kind of thing that they're working on. And I talk about the tunnel and the Raritan Valley line, which brings me to transportation. There's no transportation up here. If somebody had a job, but because of the financial situation couldn't get to it, how would they get to it? If they didn't have a vehicle, if they didn't have someone who would pick them up or take them, or if the job wasn't within walking distance, they're stuck. We need to focus on ways to get more transportation in places up here that will increase jobs, increase people's accessibility to jobs, and it's like a win-win. And the final thing I want to just talk briefly about is labor and unions. It's amazing to me the attacks that have been coming down on labor unions over the years, and the people who have worked as New Jersey State employees, worked as school teachers, worked in all kinds of jobs that affect us on a daily basis. And this governor and this whole political climate has villainized all of these people. And it's just amazing to me that the people who teach our children, who help us when we're police, help us when we're in our deepest areas of problems, places like Hagedorn, these are all being cut because these unions are being villainized and they want to get rid of the unions. It's not RISE, it's not good policy for New Jersey, and we need to move forward and get things done in a better way for that. So my question is, when did we as Democrats and teachers and labor union and police and fire department, when did we become the bad guys? When did it become bad to feed the hungry? When did it become bad to make sure that senior citizens had the right amount of money to live a quality life when they got older? When did it become terrible to forget about housing for people? I don't understand this. I don't know how we became the bad guys. I think we let them do it to us, and we need to take it back. We need to take back our power and make sure that people understand. It started back with Franklin Roosevelt, who was, of course, probably the first golden liberal. He put together the GI Bill. Education for all these returning soldiers. And what happened? What happened was that it turned this country into the most productive, energetic, involved country of anyone's lifetime. It was an incredible, incredible thing. So now let's just cut all the money for those things. And then, what did Republicans ever do for education? Tell me. I don't know anything that they've ever done for education, except try to pull the money out of our schools and put it into private schools. There's something wrong with that picture. We also talk about Social Security, which was another thing that Roosevelt did. Not one Republican in Congress voted for Social Security, and they have been working to cut it and get rid of it ever since. This is not a good thing. We can move on and talk about Johnson and civil rights, and we can talk about Medicare. And again, no Republicans voted for those things. They're trying to cut these things that make America what it is and make this country what it is and make this state what it is. When we cut Medicare funds in this state, I'm telling you, any of you who have older parents or know people who have older parents who are in nursing homes, who are in hospitals, who have to go to extended care facilities, what's going to happen? It's not just going to affect you. When that money runs out, those folks are coming home. They have no place else to go. So it's not just going to be affecting the 65-year-olds and older, it's going to be affecting the 40-year-olds and the 30-year-olds who suddenly have to take care of mom and dad, because there's not going to be any money to take care of them. This is something we need to stop. Government should be the employer of last resort. I always agree with that. But the fact is that we are at the last resort. We need to bring people in. We can't be laying off state workers. We can't be laying off municipal workers. We have to bring people in and give them jobs so that they can turn around and put money back in the economy with taxes and with purchasing power. This is not going to be working well unless we put these people back to work. That's a key thing. So, is it a last resort? Absolutely, it's a last resort. But we're at that level, and we need to take advantage of bringing people back to work and have the government do it. So I will tell you once again, this race is a doable race. This is something we can do. But I need you, and I need you, and you, and you. I need you people to not just sit here and say, wow, I saw Karen Carroll, and she did pretty well. She said a few interesting things. I need you to go out and tell your gas station attendants, and tell your bank tellers, and tell your dry cleaners. I don't care who you tell. But you need to tell them that they need to vote, and they need to vote Democratic this year. They can't sit home and watch American Idol. We need them to get out, and we need them to vote. Because if they sit home, this election in New Jersey this year is equally important as for 2011 for New Jersey, as 2008 was for the country, and as 2012 will be again for the country. We need these people to come out, because it's them that they're affecting. We need to have them come out. And I'll close with basically the quote that has been my favorite quote basically my whole life, and it was Margaret Mead who said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever does." And that's you.